What's up, guys? It's Brian Mounts from turfmechanic.com. Today's a big day. It's Milo Day and Pre-Emergent Day and other fun things. Let's get into it. I'm going to talk to you about what I'm doing and why. But first, let me roll some footage of me cleaning up the yard. It's always best to do this on a fresh, clean yard. All right, if you're a subscriber to this channel, you know that I've got a lot of videos. I publish a lot. I've got a video all about Milorganite and the main problems of using Milorganite regularly. I use Milorganite and I have consistently said that I will continue to use it, but I don't use it exclusively. Milorganite is a nitrogen-based organic fertilizer. It's a biosolid, but it's high in phosphorus. So instead of applying this only to the lawn, I am mixing it with Jonathan Green's organic lawn food. This is also an organic nitrogen source. It is primarily blood meal and feather meal, which goes down. There's a touch of potassium in there, which is derived from sulfate of potash, and soybean meal. If I put a somewhat light application of this down and a somewhat light application of the Milorganite, then all of the numbers jive, like they really match up really well. You end up getting quite a good amount of nitrogen and just enough phosphorus for the lawn. Now later in the season, not too long from now, maybe 2-3 weeks, I'll be starting to apply liquid aeration products, which are heavy in potassium. So that's going to even out my NPK ratio. Now I do have a video on this channel all about my preferred NPK ratio for the lawn over the course of an entire season. I'll link to it down in the description below. I recommend that you take a look at that because that's the basis of everything that we do. Every product has its own rates of nutrients, and our lawns need the correct amount over the course of a year. So you got to keep track of it, and that's what I do. Those guys are going to go down. I'm going to put that down, and then I'm going to put that down. So instead of trying to mix it up, I want it even. I want everywhere in the lawn to get the same amount of this and this. I don't trust my mixing abilities. This entire bag, the bag rate is for 5,000 square feet, 17 pounds for 5,000 square feet. 10% of that is nitrogen. So you're looking at 1.7 pounds of nitrogen in the entire bag. I've got 2,500 square feet, so I'm going to be adjusting this significantly. I want a half rate of this. The same thing with the Milorganite. The Milorganite is bag is rated for 2,500 square feet, which is exactly what I have, but I'm going to do half a rate of that. So I'm going to end up getting about a half rate of both bags. Now, after I apply these guys, my soil temperatures are just about at 55 degrees. We're just a little bit under. We haven't really had any hot days, but we've had a lot of sunny days around 60 degrees, overnight temperatures around 30. Our soil temperatures have gotten up into the low 50s. This is the perfect time, in my opinion. In fact, it's a little bit later than I planned to put down my prodiamine. This is my pre-emergent application that's going to go on the lawn. I want to prevent as many, not everything, but I want to prevent as many preventable grassy and broadleaf weeds as I can throughout the year. I err on the side of applying a smaller rate of this earlier in the season than a large rate of this at exactly the right time. So today it's April 12th, and it's not as early as I anticipated putting this down, but we are still a little bit early. Again, I'm not going to put the full rate of this down because I don't want this product. Prodiamine will persist in the lawn, acting to prevent the germination of seeds for many months, like well into the fall if you're putting a full application down. I don't want to do that because I want to reserve the right to be able to seed or overseed in the fall. So I'm going to put a half rate down, which is going to give me about 3.5 months worth of coverage. Now I've got a full video, again, completely on stopping weeds, like preventing weeds before they happen. I'm applying this, but there are many other products out there, and there are other active ingredients out there. Please take a look at that if you are new to weed prevention. It will also be linked below and probably here on your screen at some place, probably right up in here. This is what I'm putting down. It's not going to last me the whole season because I'm putting a half rate down. So a half rate of this is going to take me, what is this, April 12th, May, June, July, kind of towards mid to late July. And at that point, I'm going to be putting down another product called corn gluten meal, which is going to be kind of a slow release organic fertilizer, kind of like these guys, except for its primary purpose for my use is preventing weeds through the summer, because it's similar to a chemical pre-emergent in that it allows seeds to germinate, but then instead of like stopping their rooting process, it actually kind of dehydrates those little baby roots and kills them off. So that's what I'm going to be doing later in the season. This is my fancy ingredient that I'm going to be putting down. This is a kind of a product that nobody really talks about in the lawn care community. This is Azomite. This is basically a source of trace minerals. I like putting little trace things in the ground, kind of as like a on the ground, kind of as a top dressing. These are the things that really help the lawn over the long run, and they're not flashy. It's really hard to identify what is needed and what is acting. There's lots and lots of good stuff in Azomite. You're also getting a good mix, not just one or the other, but you're getting a good mix of calcium and magnesium. Calcium is going to help with the plant's immune system. You always want a good calcium to magnesium ratio. Kind of, it needs to be in balance. You're getting both of that with this. And here's the cool stuff. Azomite is also kind of this little ninja tip for root development and root growth. Now, down below, I've got a link over to my website. I've got an entire guide, like a course on stimulating root growth in the grass in your lawn. Definitely take a look at it. There are lots and lots of like really cool ninja ways of doing it. This is one of them. Take a look at that. Anyway, with all of that said, that's a lot of information just to be sitting here monologuing. I'm going to go and apply this stuff down. I literally have to go around the yard 4 times. Let's get at it. Let's have some fun. Later in the year, you're not really going to see anything. I'm just going to like apply this stuff on the ground and then water it in. But in a handful of weeks to a month's time, man, this lawn is going to look stellar. All right, I'm going to start the day off with Jonathan Green. I'm going to do 8 pounds. 10% of that is nitrogen. That means I'm putting 0.8 of a pound of nitrogen down, spreading that over 2.5 thousand square foot segments. So what is that? A little over 3, maybe about 1/3 of a pound per 1,000 square feet of nitrogen. I'll have to do the math later on the computer, but that's close enough. All right, with that out of the way, now I'm going to move on to the Milorganite. For a half rate of that, I'm going to be putting down 6 pounds for every 1,000 square feet. So that would be 6, 12, 18 pounds of this for my entire yard. That's half of the bag rate. So at 6 pounds per 1,000 square feet, 6% of that is nitrogen. Again, that ends up being somewhere in the like 1/3 of a pound to maybe 0.35 pounds of nitrogen. If you combine these together, it looks like we're somewhere around 3/4 of a pound, maybe 0.8 pounds. Again, I'd have to do the precise math later on some sort of a computerized device. I don't know. You probably have one of those too. Yeah, baby. Half a bag of Milo. now Jonathan Green is pretty darn safe to put on the ground because it's not going to burn. It takes such a long time for it to break down and get used by the plant. Same thing with the Milorganite. Azomite is basically the same thing. It's also not even really a fertilizer. There's a trace amounts of potassium in there. So all of these three things, there's definitely some fledge factor going on. Like if you're not particularly good at spreading evenly across the lawn, you shouldn't worry too much. Obviously try your best to put the correct amount down and evenly across the whole lawn without having like overspray. Even if you're not particularly good at it yet, it's gonna be okay. Azomite is the same thing. I'm gonna go ahead and put 10 pounds in the spreader and spread it around my 2,500 square foot yard. As I poured that, I'm sure you could see the dust that came off of it. Look at that. This is a volcanic ash from who knows how long ago in central, or somewhere in Utah. All right, with all of that done, now it's time for the Barricade Pro. This is the prodiamine. This is the only one of these four that application, perfection is really, really worth going for. All of the others, there's some room for fudge. But here we want to get it right. I've got a Kentucky Bluegrass perennial rye mix. The application rate for lawns is 1.8 to 4.8 pounds per thousand square feet. So because I'm doing a half rate, I'm going to err towards that lower end of the spectrum. I'm going to go for 2 pounds per thousand square feet. And since I have 2,500 square feet, then that means I need 2, 4, 5 pounds of this product spread evenly across my entire flat yard. This one I actually have to be perfect. So I'm going to move my jungle gym out of the way. And I already moved my slide out of the way just to give me less obstacles to go around in the yard. All right, now for spreader settings on a product like this, any product where precision is more important. Milo, organic lawn food, Azomite, number of other things, precision isn't quite as important. But with a pre-emergent weed preventer, precision is much more important. I prefer to completely skip the spreader setting instructions on the bags. I always go as low as I possibly can and do as many passes in as many different directions as I possibly can. That's just what I prefer to do. I feel like I ensure the fact that I'm getting even coverage everywhere with no pattern whatsoever all over the place. If I go around and then I do back and forth and then I do this and then I do zigzags, eventually I'm going to go through all of the product and it's going to be everywhere. That's how I work. It takes a little bit more time, but I feel more comfortable with that. And as is always important after doing all of this, grab your blower or a broom and get all that excess off of the sidewalks. All right, that is 4 applications on the lawn. Organic lawn food from Jonathan Green, Milorganite. Basically, both of those were half rates, so they kind of average themselves out to give me some nitrogen and not so much phosphorus. I got some Azomite down, which is going to help with root development, trace minerals that the grass is going to use in mysterious ways. Again, take a look at the link below for more root stealth ideas. And then I put down Anderson's DG. It's Barricade. It's the prodiamine application for weed prevention. Again, I have a very comprehensive video about weed prevention here on this channel. I'll probably link to it up here or maybe down in the description below. If you're interested in preventing dandelions, I also have a video about dandelion prevention as well. Dandelion prevention is a little bit different from regular grassy and broadleaf weeds because dandelions are perennials. In any event, this application is done, all 4 of them. I've got good even distribution all over the place. I am going to now water everything in because I just put down 4 granular products down on the ground. Everything's going to go down with a lot of water. I mean, I'm not going to make this a swamp or anything like that, but I want to make sure everything gets into the ground, starts working its way into the soil and doing what it's supposed to do. If you found anything in this video helpful, definitely hit that like button. I really recommend going into the description and watching a couple of these supplemental videos where I explain how weed prevention works, how root development works, how we promote more root growth in grass. I prefer using organic fertilizers whenever I can. And I've got some videos, a variety of videos on those as well, also linked down below. Please hit that like button, and I will see you in another video down the road.